Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna let it away. Tonight, we're gonna let it away. Tonight, we're gonna let it away. Just like the sunrise, we're gonna let it away. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna let it away. Tonight, we're gonna let it away. Tonight, we're gonna let it away. Just like the sunrise, we're gonna let it away.
Hey guys, welcome in. Welcome in. Forgot I had some papers back here. I hate having stuff in the way. But how's everybody doing today? How are we doing? It is what, Monday the 28th already? Oh my gosh. I wish we could turn back time. Because I feel like I got gypped out this summer. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like I got gypped. I feel like this, I feel like there wasn't a summer. It's been either kind of cool out or it, like in Ohio anyway, where I'm at in Ohio, it's either been like raining. It's just been kind of great, you know, like the weather. And now I'm like, July's not. Oh my gosh, Betsy Ross, I am so ready for fall. Okay, so I haven't, like y'all know, I love me some Target. That's me. That's just me. My name should be Tanya Target. But I haven't been like buying much because like I haven't been excited to buy anything in there, right? Like I'm like, this place is like dull the last like few months. Because you guys know me, I'd be buying like blankets, pillows, decorations, all the things. So I went in the other day and I went into their like home section and they put out their fall stuff. I was so excited. I was sending pictures of Vincent. I was like, I need this pillow with this blanket, with this little lamp. I was like, for my like little reading nook that I don't use, but I like to decorate it. So yeah, I know I love summer too, but I'm not too ready for fall because I don't like the weather change. I got seasonal depression, but I was excited to see the fall stuff out. I think that's what makes me excited is the blankets and all that kind of stuff. All the stuff that is like cozy, you know? Yeah, cozy time. See, Betsy's with me. Betsy's with me on this. But welcome in, everybody. If this is your first time here, my name is Tanya or Titanium Built. You could call me either or. We are going to go over some of the documents in the Idaho 4 case. We've been kind of combing through those. over the last week or so since we've had them. So yeah, I'm excited to go over them. You hate summer, really? You're the opposite, Micro. You like this? You like the fall and the winter, like the snow and stuff like that? Do you live somewhere that has snow? Because Vincent is from California, so he didn't really experience snow till he came to Ohio, and he's like, "What is this crap?" But thank you guys all for being here. Ashley, check your email. I did send that gift card over a little bit ago, so it should come to you anytime now. And I got the confirmation code and everything. So, and it was easy to do yours because I knew your email automatically, and because I knew it was you, and then also I knew your first and last name to put it on the card. I was like, this is easy. So let's go ahead and get started. Hey, She Fell in Love. I love that name. I didn't even realize that was I had to read it out loud. I like that. They never said they knew who Papa Roger actually was, only that they tried and couldn't link him. Yeah. By all that time, I'm sure it was the VPNs. Yeah, he had a lot of VPNs he was using, which is weird because that usually just conceals your location. Like that's what a VPN usually does. I don't know. I guess he wanted to conceal where he was at. Now, if I was him, I probably, if I was going to use a computer, right? Like think of a computer to use, I would either somehow obtain one through Marketplace and then get rid of it, or I would go to the library. You know what I mean? I know that they probably check the libraries, but that would be my second place to go. Hey, Toys R Us Kid. Hey, Firewalk with me. Well, welcome in, everybody. We got Baby Girl as a mod in here tonight or today. I'm sure they'll come and find us eventually. I put it on the community tab. Hey, Pearl. Hey, Pearl. I went over and watched that live. I just didn't comment, but it was really, 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 really nice. I appreciate the kind words. I actually did a video today before we get started. I did a video, and I have not watched any live streams in a week and 2 days. Yeah, a week and 2 days. And I feel like a brand new person. I got so much stuff to do. I got so much free time. But I really appreciate it, Pearl. That was very sweet. I like when people take up for me. It makes me happy. People usually do too. 'Cause I'm not a troublemaker. Not for the most part. I mean, for the most part, I'm not. But there were some documents in here, and when I was reading, I saw the one that referenced Papa Roger, and I was like, wait a second, because I thought Bill said that he thought that there wasn't any connection, but I don't know. I'm on the fence still with it. I've been on the fence this whole time. Now I do have somebody put together on Reddit a spreadsheet of what Brian Koberger has said in his and then his survey, and then what Papa Rogers kind of said, the wording and stuff, and if it was similar. And I mean, it was a really good spreadsheet. And then I had all of the posts that he ever made, and I was going to do a whole show over it. And then Bill came out and said it wasn't him. So, or he thought it wasn't, they couldn't make the connection or something. So then I just didn't do it. So maybe we'll have to do that live just to see if we think there's a connection. But I'll go ahead and fix the screen a little bit here, and I have the comments going. So, because I mean, I know that there was a lot of people trying to impersonate Brian or whatever, 163-214. But I don't know. The Papa Roger thing is really the posts are really strange, but at the same time, he could have been lucky with some of that stuff, the knife sheath and stuff. If they knew that a knife had been used, right? I don't know. He could have said, so I don't know. It is weird. It's, I don't know. I can't even say anything because it's so weird. Right, Ashley? Yeah. Well, and then I was looking in there, they said that there was jail mail and jail calls, and I'm like, ooh. So I am going to be putting that for you in for that. Right, Pearl? Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I know I did a short video or a short today, and I was like, someone said I can have an opinion, but then they said no. No, you're not. I was like, okay. Okay, then. So the first one we're going to look over is just from Andrew Fox, and it's from 8/16/23. And it was for an old phone of Xana's. I thought it was her actual phone, but it looks like it's an old phone. So it just says on August 10th, I was able to use Gray Key and Axiom Magnet version 2.7.2, sorry, to examine an iPhone XR that had extensive damage to the rear of the phone. Sounds like my phone. My iPhone 4 was like that. And then it just says like the serial number, but it just says in examining the phone has not been used since May 11th, 2022. The contents of the phone belong to Xana. After examination of the phone, I was unable to find any evidentiary value. The phone was secured in evidence. And I think that they just found like extra phones. You know how everyone has an extra phone in their house. I feel like we got a whole box of them, ones that we just didn't like trade in or something, I guess. We always trade my phone in though, because my phone's always in perfect condition, they say. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. But so they checked, so they ended up checking it and it wasn't anything on there. Now, I wonder what phones, if their phones were damaged, during this altercation, or if they were, able to use, like, get stuff off of their phones. I'm sure they were able to extract everything. Also, I wanted to show you guys a video. I watched it earlier with Bill Thompson, and he described what Dylan actually saw in Brian Koberger's hands when he was walking like through the house past her. And it wasn't like a canister to where he was holding it in like one hand, right? The way that Bill described it was that he was holding this canister with two hands. So like, I mean, it would have to, I don't have a basket or anything near me to grab. Well, there's one over there, but you know what I mean? Like it was something big enough to where like he was holding it with both hands. I'm wondering if it was for his clothes or if he just kind of took something off of Xana's knife, like our desk, just because he had the knife and he didn't have a sheath to put it in. But I wanted to let you guys know about that. So this one is just receipt footwear analysis. So then it just says on Tuesday, September 12th, 2023, I received an email. It's from Redacted. It's a forensic lab manager for the Ada County Sheriff's Office. They assist with, Redacted assist was requested for, the assistance was requested for the analysis of possible footwear impressions left at the scene of the homicides. So Redacted sent me 2 attached copies and advised me they were her notes as well as her report pertaining to her analysis of the footwear impressions and the comparisons of those impressions to various pieces of footwear collected from Koberger throughout this investigation. And then it just says I downloaded both files and attached them to this case electronically. Like those kind of things I feel like they should release to us through a FOIA. I hope they release everything. They haven't mentioned Marine the golf clubs yet that I've seen yet. But I know that there were some in there, and I believe they were Ethan's. I think that his mom maybe said that. I remember somebody saying that and like confirming, because I thought maybe they were Xana's. But I think they were Ethan's. So this one is from an FBI tip. Brett Payne took this. So FBI tip 9237, follow-up number 157. So on Wednesday, September 13th, FBI technician tech specialist Redacted forwarded me a tip, serial number 9237 via email. The tip was called in on August 22nd, 2023 to the FBI tip line. The caller was redacted, advised the caller taker he saw a person whom he thought was Koberger at 1122 King Road on 2 occasions in July on 2022. That doesn't make sense. Redacted advised he came to 1122 King Road as he was a real estate agent looking for property for clients. Redacted stated on both occasions he saw Koberger and Koberger's father. Well, that wouldn't be right, would it? No. Okay, so let's see. On Wednesday, September 13th, 2023, I called Redacted on the telephone after verifying his identity via TLO. Redacted was a licensed real estate agent living in Florida. I asked him to relate to me what he reported to the FBI. He told me he drove his nephew, Redacted, to the western U.S. from Florida as his nephew was dying from cancer. Oh. Redacted advised he came through Moscow and saw a sign for property for sale, so he followed the sign to 1122 King Road to look at the property for clients. While he was parked out front, Redacted said a brown Jeep-type pickup pulled into the parking lot, driven by an older man with a red beard. Redacted said hold on, where was I at? Redacted said he then saw a male who he was sure was Kohlberger get up from the back seat. Redacted and the driver exchanged small talk, and Redacted said he walked to the back door to speak to the tenants, but no one answered. Redacted said he left the area with his nephew shortly after. The King Road house was never up for sale. Redacted said he returned to 1122 King Road on his way back to Florida. Redacted said he was parked in front of the house when a white car, which he described as the same one they've shown on television, drove by the house. Redacted said he was sure the driver was Kohlberger's father and Kohlberger was in the passenger seat. Redacted said the vehicle sped away and he did not see where it went. Is he trying to say his dad had something to do with this? Oh my goodness. Hey, True Crime Lullabies. Welcome in. This was Rage, yeah. Hey, Doodlebug. And hey, Sheree. Hey, welcome in, everybody. Okay. I'm on another page. Or I'm not on another page. I'm just looking up. I usually look this way. I don't know which is better. But this one I can kind of like, I can move them both, but I can move like the monitor if I need to. So I asked Redacted if he remembered when this took place. He asked me what month the homicides occurred. I told him it was November, to which he replied, it must have been around then. He previously told the FBI he was in Moscow in July. Redacted then told me his nephew passed away a short time after he returned from his trip. I asked Redacted when his nephew passed away. Redacted told me his nephew passed away 8 years ago. Oh my. Could you imagine working for the FBI and getting a call like this? Hey, Jenna. How are you doing today? Hope you're doing good. What? 8 years ago? Oh my God. At this time, there's nothing to corroborate Redacted statements based off the inconsistencies in his timeline. Further investigation will be completed if necessary. I don't think it's a necessary on this one, but wonder who took this. Brett Payne. Could you imagine like someone calls, the crazy things that we have heard in this case, right? From people, like creators I'm talking about. And then like, you just think about it. A lot of these creators have said so much off the wall stuff for this case. And then they disseminate that to thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people. It only takes one crazy loony to call in a tip to the FBI saying Kohlberger's dad was driving with him around, but then it was 8 years ago his nephew died. Woo. Brett and Ziggy Hill. That's funny. I follow them sometimes through Chasing if she's talking about it. I don't even know who they are really, but I just know them through Chasing. And I know they have to do with Summer Wells. So the next one was from Brett Payne, and it's the SMP profile from the FBI. And I think he just kind of like just enters this into evidence. But it says on Tuesday, September 26, 23, I received an email from Redacted Administrative Assistant of the Forensic Science Law Unit within the FBI. The email contained a secure link for the retrieval of the SNP DNA profile created by the FBI referenced in this investigation. On Wednesday, September 27, 2023, I accessed the secure portal and downloaded the file as it was provided from the above source. I downloaded the file to my department-issued computer and then attached the file electronically to this case. Good job. Good job, Brett. Okay, so this one's from Danny Vargas, and I feel like her reports, she has like the juicy stuff. I don't know why, but like every time I read her name, it's like she's on top of the juicy stuff. She's like, I'm gonna go see if he's Papa Roger. I don't know. So initial searches for Kohlberger through victim accounts. Okay, so early on in the investigation, after Kohlberger had been identified as the suspect, I did an initial search for the following names/phone numbers throughout several accounts belonging to the victims: Brian, Kohlberger, Christopher. I don't know why these two are redacted. And then Papa Roger. Now, I don't know what these two are, but I'm curious. So they're looking at these as like his aliases, it sounds like. That tip was terrible. That tip was terrible. That'd be like me, like over here in Ohio, being like, I'm from Ohio, but I think I saw something over there on Google Earth. Speaking of which, whatever happened to that creator? Forget who it was now. She gone. She gone. She peaced out. I did not find any of the above terms related to Kohlberger in the following accounts listed below: Kaylee iCloud, Kaylee Snapchat, Kaylee iPhone BFU. I don't know what that is. Kaylee Gmail, Kaylee Yahoo, Kaylee Instagram, Kaylee Facebook, Bethany Instagram, Dylan Instagram, Ethan Instagram, Xana Instagram, Maddie Facebook, Xana Facebook, Ethan Facebook, Bethany Facebook, Dylan Facebook. And that looks like maybe Jack Decor Facebook. My notes are attached electronically to this case file. So why are we even talking about Papa Roger, right? Why would that even be like an alias or even in the case file at all if they felt that he wasn't? I mean, I would think that they would put like a whole file in here saying like, hey, we looked into the Papa Roger account. There's no association with, Brian Kohlberger and the account, case over. I don't know. Right, Jesse? Yeah, then they should be able to tell us who is it? Yeah, we want to know. And why hasn't this person come forward, right? Like, just think, I mean, Brian's arrested. Brian is in prison. He's gone. He's gone, right? If I were Papa Roger and I was that slick, like I was that good at like guessing things, I would be like, I'm a psychic, and I would just come out and make my own channel as a psychic, and everyone would think I was just really that good. I mean, right? I would be like, I'm Papa Roger. Now I don't know, and I'm sure that he saved his messages, whoever it was. Unless it was Brian Kohlberger, then he probably didn't save those. But if he was Papa Roger, he probably did save them. Like whoever Papa Roger is. And now that we know, Brian Kohlberger didn't call into T-Rev's show, even though he lied about that. I wonder if he ever took that video down. Probably not. Gary, I didn't hear about that. I don't remember reading that yet. I know that there was like somebody in the tree line they thought that they had heard when they took the dog out and stuff. But I think that tree line is a like a pathway that you can walk, like for between the houses. Because I remember Brian Enton being back there, like in the it was like winter and there was a bunch of snow. Do you guys remember that video? I swear that was the back of the house. Brian Enton, King Road, walk through. I don't know, walk through yard. It was on like News Nation, I think. It was. Let me see. This is him driving. Okay, that's not it. I'll have to look for it. Wait, is this it? Oh, wait, okay, there we go. Hold on. I think I found it. Let me see where he starts to walk. Okay, I think it's right here. Let's just go over to here real quick and see if that's where he's at. Okay, let's actually go back. Let me share this with you. That'd help. Okay, so this is him in front of the house. Look at all this snow. And then, like, I wanted to see where he was. See, he's like in the back of the house now. So let's see what this says.
Take a look. We went up earlier today in the daylight so you could get a better view. Okay, so we are at the back of the house where the murders happened. This is the house right here. You can see the police line is still up. I've shown you this parking lot before. There's this big parking lot right behind because there's an apartment building right over there. But we wanted to show you what's even further back behind the house. So follow me. You walk to the back of the parking lot over here, to the very back corner.
So far, I mean, if someone was, that's the tree line, right? So.
And there's this trail right here. And you can tell that other people have walked on it before because the snow is packed down and there's footprints. So possibly students walking up to the neighborhood up above. Come around the trail here. It sort of loops around right by the backyard.
See, it's like right by the backyard right there, right? So, I mean, because I remember the girls said that they were scared because they would hear people back by the tree line, but that's a walkway. Maybe they didn't know that, right? Maybe they didn't know. But if you run into trees, like it's not that good of a path.
To this fence line. And basically the little trail continues to loop around. I don't want to go in the backyard of the people who live back here, but we'll show you what's on the other side. Okay, so we're up on the road back behind the house. This house behind me, that.
So basically, I mean, right behind the house, you know. That's still, I mean, still scary. You know, these girls were kind of scaredy cats. I mean, and when you're that young, you are and you're away from your parents for the first time, you are scared. Even if you've been there for a year or two, I think that, you know, you could spook yourself, right? And just like Dylan, you know, had called people over before to check the house and it was just like a pan that fell off or something, like off the counter. I mean, I probably wouldn't go that far, but I'm a scaredy cat too. So it doesn't go down in their backyard, but it was in the tree line. Like they were explaining how like when they would take Murphy out, they would hear somebody along the tree line. And I think that's maybe what they were referring to. Like people were walking back there. Maybe they didn't know that path was there. That path wasn't very like, you know, wasn't very good of a path. But Brian Enton found it, didn't he? Okay. So I'm going to start reading these again. This one is the second interview. It doesn't, it's redacted, but it's with, this one's, okay, I remember this one. This is Brian's co-worker in a way. So on Tuesday, October 10th, 2023, I met with WSU student. It looks like it's Casey, but I'm just going to say redacted. Here to referred to as L. So whoever it is. In reference to this case, I was accompanied by FBI agent Hill for this interview, as well as FBI interpreter who was present via phone call, as L is from redacted. I think she wasn't she Asian? No, is this the girl? I don't know. I know the girl, I think she was Asian. So it says the interview was recorded and attached to this case digitally. Redacted was interviewed once previously by FBI agent Zach Gawaski. Oh my gosh, look at that. How do you even say that? Zahaskosky. In December of 2022, Redacted was a former teaching assistant with Kohlberger and shared an office with him for the fall semester. It's a guy, okay, fall semester of 2022 at WSU. Because I thought he shared the office with a girl, so maybe it was two people. I began asking Redacted to tell me how he met Kohlberger. He stated they were both TAs for the criminology program at WSU and shared an office in Wilson Short Hall. He considered Kohlberger a friend and stated he thought Kohlberger was very intelligent, but also selfish. I wouldn't want to be friends with someone that's selfish. Hey, Tiffany. Welcome in, everybody. We're just reading over. If you're just now joining us, we're reading over some more of the documents in the Idaho 4 case. I'm going to post this in the chat and put it on, I just posted the link. If anybody wants to become a member of our channel, we would love to have you. Oops, I think I pinned the wrong one. Okay, so I'll pin it up at the top. I always have it usually pinned at the top. That way, if you guys want to become a member, we'd love to have you. We do like members only lives and we do members giveaways every month. Okay, so back to reading. it says here, I began asking, oh, wait, so he was selfish. Okay, I don't know if I'd be friends with someone that's selfish, but okay. He said Koberger would often mislead him when it came to their shared work and would have redacted complete work meant for Koberger. So I guess he was doing all the work and Koberger was taking the credit for it. Okay. Redacted said Koberger came to his dorm room on one occasion around the time of the homicides. Redacted was unsure of the exact date. After Redacted asked him for a ride to class, Redacted also asked or added Koberger began to talk much more than usual after the homicides. Redacted characterized Koberger's conversation as those coming from someone who wanted to vent. Wanted to vent. Redacted stated Koberger attempted to use his authority as a TA to inappropriately interact with female students. What? Redacted stated Koberger attempted to use his authority as a TA to inappropriately interact with female students. What were you doing, Koberger? He stated he thought Koberger wanted a girlfriend and added they talked about Koberger wanting a girlfriend on many occasions. Maybe, I don't know. Redacted said Koberger told him he might lose his TA position over an issue with Dr. Redacted. Koberger asked Redacted to help fight the allegations, but Redacted stated he refused to help Koberger. Redacted characterized Koberger as a dishonest person. Then why were you friends with him? To support this, Redacted stated he spoke to Koberger in late December of 2022, and Koberger said he was packing his bags to catch a flight back to Pennsylvania. Redacted later learned Koberger had been back in Pennsylvania for some time and drove back with his father. Oops. So he lied. Redacted then told us about some injuries he witnessed on Koberger's face and hands. Redacted was unsure of the date, but stated he thought he noticed the injuries on two separate occasions in October and November of 2022. Redacted stated one injury was large scratch on Koberger's face, which Redacted described as looking like scratches from fingernails. I hope one of them girls got him up in that face. One of them had to have, right? You would think. It says, Redacted said he also saw wounds to Koberger's knuckles on two separate occasions. Maybe boxing, but I don't know. When Redacted asked Koberger about what happened to him, Koberger replied he had been in a car accident. Oh, another car accident, which I need to look up his first car accident from Pennsylvania. I want to know all about it when he was a kid and how it just messed him up. I want to read all about it. Wow. So so scratches to the face, which look like fingernails. And then he said his knuckles were both messed up. Well, his hands were. Okay. So then when Redacted asked Koberger about the injuries, he replied that he'd been in a car accident. Redacted also stated Koberger was frequently 20 minutes late to their classes. I asked Redacted what he and Koberger would talk about. I know that people with autism sometimes do have trouble with time. I'm one of those people. I'm always super early, though. If he does have autism, they say he does. So, I asked Redacted what he and Koberger would talk about. Redacted said Koberger liked to discuss his area of study, which was criminal decision making and burglary type crimes. Burglary. I didn't know that. Didn't know that before. So his area of study was burglary. So he would know how to get into a house and not be heard or seen. Maybe that was, what he wanted to do. Like, see if he could do it. See if he could go into a house without anybody knowing he was there. I wonder if he's been in that house before with all of them there and they just didn't know it. Like he went into the kitchen or he went into Maybe like from the kitchen, went into the closet, went to it like a bedroom that he didn't think anybody would be in. If they were all hanging out in the living room. I mean, I don't know. But he could have been in there before. So S.A. Hill and I advised Redacted to reach out if he wished to add anything to what he told us and concluded our interview. A lot of people are talking. So then we got FBI photos received. So they received item 850 CD Koberger photos from PSP Barracks. Item 851 CD photos of vehicle at Koberger's residence. Item 852 CD from photos from 2 additional vehicles at Koberger's residence. I'm assuming maybe the parents, maybe the sister. Item 853 CD photos of 119 Lambsden Drive. I don't know why they didn't redact his address there. Item 854 CD photos of vehicle. On Tuesday, October 17th, oh, that's my birthday, 2023, FBI S.A. Hill brought several copies of FBI photos to me on CDs. There were 5 discs provided for MPD, and they contained photos of 3 vehicles searched at 19 Lambsden Drive, Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, the residence itself, and the search photos of Koberger taken at the Stroudsburg PSP Barracks. I would love to see those. I would love to see those. Also, when the cops went in to arrest Koberger, apparently he ran. Like he ran down the stairs, and then someone was already like at the bottom of the stairs coming up. So, he got caught. But he did look at the officer and was like, and peaced out. I mean, sometimes that's your reaction. I mean, your reaction just to run, but I probably would have ran too. I mean, not to be truthfully honest. Hey, True Crime Unleashed, welcome in. He ran to his room. Yeah, Felicia. He was trying to run to his room. Like, and I thought that too. I laughed because like when you're a little kid, you can run to your room and hide. I don't know. Like, I don't know. It blew my mind when they said that. I was like, he ran. Like, where's he going to go with his kitchen gloves on, sorting his trash? Did he try to take the trash with him? Oh my, I really want to see pictures of that. I will pay for those. I will pay for that. I need to see that because I want to see him. I want to see the baggies and I want to see him running. I always ran. Mariska said, me too. Like, peace. See ya. Cop. Bye. There's still times I'll see a cop and I'm like, I ain't doing nothing wrong, but I'm like, I'm just going to go over here. That's funny. That's funny. Still a reaction, to run. Like, peace. So this is narrative. It says it's redacted tip follow-up. So on Tuesday, October 24th, 2023, I received a tip from TS Redacted, which needed to be followed up on. And it was tip number 7280. So I'm assuming 7,280. Wow. The tip was originally captured in the FBI's VCC system. The tip stated Redacted thought her friend Redacted drove a white Elantra and was around 1122 King Road the night of the homicides. S.A. Shirley spoke to Redacted in December, but there was no details in VCC as to what he found out. I called Redacted on Tuesday, October 24th, and confirmed she spoke to S.A. Shirley in December. I asked her what kind of car she drove. She said she drove a 2014 white Ford Focus. I confirmed this by running Redacted's license plate through the Idaho DMV, which showed a white 2014 Ford Focus. I asked her if she had been driving near King Road the night of the homicide. She said she was not and said her car was parked on the street near her sorority at Redacted Street in Moscow. She said she saw Kernodle briefly at the frat the night prior to the homicides, but otherwise had nothing else to talk about. I thanked Redacted for her time and ended our conversation. I did not record our conversation. They don't record a lot of the conversations. That's just kind of stupid to me. They don't record like any of them. So then this one is from it says additional video downloads. So I think it's from Ann Taylor or something. So on October 17th, I received an email from the Latah County Prosecutor's Office in reference to downloading additional video from the security camera seized from the residence located at 1112 King Road. I remember reading this now. Previously, video had been downloaded from the camera for the approximately time frame of 0230 to 0430 hours on November 13th, 2022. Remember they broke the camera and then they just like jimmied it back up there? Yeah. These videos were downloaded and contained audio. Through different methods using forensically acquired data from the camera's SD card, additional videos were downloaded however, they did not include the audio. Okay. So when you download, you didn't listen to them right away? I was requested to download videos to include audio from the approximate time frame of 04:45 to 1200 hours on November 13th, 2022. Due to the fact the camera light bulb connection was inadvertently broken previously, a repair to the device to allow it to be powered on was needed. In the email received on October 17th, 2023, Defense Counsel Ann Taylor provided approval for the repair. Prior approval was provided by the Latah County Prosecutor's Office. Yeah, because you guys broke it the first time when you went back to use it. And then you jimmied it back up there like, oh, they said they literally just put it back together, like put the wire back in and put it back up there. Didn't even say I'll get you a new camera, right? I don't know. I wouldn't let them cuff me, Felicia. I wouldn't. I'd be like, those are cutting in my hands. Can we loosen these? And then I would escape. Like Houdini. So I was able to request and receive the camera and wireless router from evidence. I was successful in replacing the light bulb camera thread connection with a standard wall plug-in power, wall plug-in to power the device. Okay, so when you buy the light bulb camera, because I have it, I should go grab it for you and show you. But it comes with, which is cool if you don't want to put it into, like, if you don't have a light bulb to unscrew, like outside or whatever, to put the camera in. A lot of people will have outlets outside, right? And so you can just, there's a thing that comes with it and you screw it in just like a light bulb into this little device that will make it to where you can plug it into a wall instead of plugging it into the, the light bulb camera. And that's what they're talking about here. So they put it in they put it into the wall plug-in and that powered the device. The device powered up and I was able to download videos from the time that he wanted. So upon reviewing the videos, they appear to contain audio. So then they put them into evidence. I'm so glad I bought that little camera. That came in handy. Like I know a lot about the sounds that, it captures the, the visuals and a lot of it. Yeah. Some of this stuff is just, incompetence. It's like, or they just, I don't know. True Crime Unleashed. I remember when I was young, I was so young. I got in trouble for, it was possession. This is going to make you guys laugh. Possession of a 16-ounce draft beer. That was what the ticket wrote. They wrote me a ticket for that. I was the only one that didn't get arrested that night out of 23 people, but they cuffed me and I got out of them like 5 times. I'm not going to lie, 5 times. He's like, what the hell are you, Houdini or something? I was like, I don't want to be cuffed. I'm one of those people, I can't be restrained like that. Like I freak out, but I didn't freak out. I just slowly, I used to have the smallest wrist. They're a little bit bigger now, but I used to have the smallest wrist possible. Like, go get the baby cuffs. You got cuffs for babies? That will work. But they didn't end up arresting me. And I didn't even drink the beer. That was the thing. I didn't even drink it. Someone handed it to me and I was like, thanks, because I didn't want to be rude. I was like 19 or 20 or something. And I put it down because I knew the 2 cops. I knew those 2 guys were cops. I knew it. I knew it. So that's my side story. But yeah. I was like 19 and I was like, I got out of them like 5 times. Just standing in the parking lot. They didn't put me in a car or nothing. They just didn't want me to run, I guess. And then my friend came over drunker than a skunk, but he was, of age. What are you doing? Why are you over here? Get back to the party. So funny. Oh my gosh. Those days were forever now. But this one is from Brett Payne. I should have ran. That would have been funny. I would have fell though. ISP.3D in LAS format. So this is when he goes in, he just gets the thumb drive for it's called .3D scans, and it's from the King Road house. So he books them into evidence. On the same day, I received an email from Department Olson This is department. I think it means detective. From LCSO containing an attachment of the dog impound form from 1113. I printed this copy and booked it into MPD. So it must be something about the dog. It sounds like it's raining out there. I swear if it's raining. Okay, let's go to the next one. We have just a few more here. Oh, that's going to show you. This one is on February 20. This is from Danny Vargas, and it's x-rays of the victims. I'm telling you, she gets like kind of the more juicy stuff. Like, you know, now she has x-rays of the victims, like compared to like just sending back and forth, you know, like, or like putting into evidence, like things like that. Like, I don't know. When she does put stuff into evidence, it's like the stuff you want to more, you want to hear about. We want to hear about like what happened, you know? But it says here that she received a thumb drive from coroner Kathy Mabbitt, which contained x-rays taken of Chapin, Kernodle, Mogan, and Gonzalez at Spokane coroner's office during the autopsies. And then she booked them into MPD. So, oh man, the x-rays probably were terrible. Now, x-rays wouldn't be too bad to look at. Like, I don't think. Maybe they would. I'm trying to like think of my x-rays. Like, I don't know. I'm used to looking at that kind of stuff, but that's scary. That's so sad. This one is x-rays shared via OneDrive from Spokane Medical Examiner's Office. And it says on February 27th, 2024. Now that's a while from the time that the murders happened. These autopsies were done like 6 weeks after, like, or less after the homicides, because they had their remains back, remember? So it was probably like, I would say 3 weeks or less. And then they just are putting these in, like these x-rays are like, I don't know. Like you were like kind of behind and trying to get prepared yourself, it looks like. On February 27th, 2024, I downloaded the x-rays for Gonzalez, Mogan, Chapin, and Kernodle, which were shared via OneDrive from the Spokane Medical Examiner's Office to Ashley Jennings, Latah County Prosecutor's Office. And then this one is about soil. So the soil province report. Remember last night we read that Kohberger had a shovel and they were testing soil samples in different areas that they found from like Kohberger's phone or data from his phone. And they were just wanting to see where that soil came from. So maybe they could retrace it and they could maybe find a place where he dug and buried something, right? Maybe like a weapon, clothes, whatever it was, right? So, and said no pork tethering. That's funny. So this report kind of goes with that report. So it says here on February, March 1st, I received an email from FBI geologist, redacted, containing the report completed reference the soil found on the shovel recovered from Kohberger's white Elantra. The attached PDF of this report to the Spillman case file. That's where he put it, I guess. The summary of the report is as follows. The soil on this shovel is consistent with soil found in the Moscow area, based off of redacted's analysis. The report also stated the soil was likely not from anywhere east of Moscow. This finding also excluded Pennsylvania as a likely source for the soil. So, Moscow. They're saying the soil came from Moscow. And they're saying what they said about the east. Let me see. Where did I read it? The summary of the soil, this is what soil based off of analysis. The report also stated, it says not likely anywhere from east of Moscow. So the report stated the soil from the shovel displayed characteristics of soil carried to the area via a water source. I wonder what that means. Like via like snow water source, like via like a wet road, and they picked up the soil. I don't know what that means. The report stated the soil from the shovel displayed characteristics of soil carried to the area via a water source. So I guess wherever he was, maybe it was damp. Yeah, I said that actually, Mariska, months ago because the Gonzalez family said that. They had to go in with headlamps. There was nothing. Yeah, the kids' items were all mixed together. Um, it was crazy. I did hear the Chapins actually went back and received. They wanted to go through it again because they said that there was some items that were Ethan's they couldn't find. They know their son's items so well. My mom would have never known what I had at that age, right? Like exactly to a T. But they got like a belt, a shirt, and then like a Sigma Chi flag or something. Like they knew exactly what their boys' stuff was. Like I thought that was in a way like really sweet and sad at the same time. But yeah, yeah, they should have taken better care of those kids' properties. They set it up like rooms and then they just shoved the stuff in there. There was biological still on the stuff that they gave back. I mean, it was insanity. Yeah, it was insanity. Because when I said that when Drunk Turkey was on the panel one night and he was like, how do you know that? And I'm like, the Gonzalez's. I can't remember where I heard that. But I said the headlamps, there was no electricity, there was no heat and cooling, none of that. So yeah. And like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It had to been an interview. Yeah. Maybe that he didn't throw it into the river, maybe he decided to bury it and keep it. Like, and maybe that's where the sharpener is too. But it says, during the conversation with Redacted, he stated the exact area the sample came from would likely not be attainable due to the prominence of the mineral compounds from the sample that are not throughout the Moscow area. Or that are found, that are found throughout the Moscow area. So I guess it's like they're the same soil throughout the whole area of Moscow almost. So, or like that part. So you wouldn't be able to like pinpoint an exact location. Well, that sucks. Keep looking, boys. And then this one is Koberger jail mail. What? I want to see your jail mail, Koberger. I mean, you probably got a lot of fan mail. Narrative Koberger jail mail. In February 2024, I received digital images of Koberger's mail from 7/13/2023 to 2/7/2024 from the Latah County Jail. I want to see. They're on a DVD somewhere, so. I hope, Christian. That would be nice, wouldn't it? See, Joan, that's what I was saying. Was the ground too hard? Because I know that in December in Ohio, you can't get a shovel. You'd have to use like a backhoe. And I only know that because I had to bury something one time in December. And my brother just happened to have a damn backhoe on his land. He's like, I'm building a house. He's like, I got one, come here. So it was when our puppy dog died. Oh, yeah. I mean, you could. I don't know if you. They said that once it's in the Snake River, like it's gone. Like it's just gone. Like they can't. They won't be able to find it. Like there's a body in there, in the Snake River. Like they remember the guy. Okay, so Bill Thompson. Bill Thompson had a no body crime, and he went to trial with a no body trial or whatever. He said that the guy that he was trying to convict had killed his wife, but he threw her body in the Snake River, and they just could not. They're like, we won't be able to find it. Like, we just won't be able to find it. I'm pretty sure they looked. I hope they looked, but they did say that. So I want to see the report about the trash on the back porch. I want to ask questions. I have a couple questions I want to ask. Can we do a press conference so I can come? So this is report of potential jury survey. So remember when Ann Taylor was sneaky as shit and she sent out them surveys without telling anybody? And then she's like, oh yeah, we're calling people. This is from that. On March 8th, I received an email from PA Thompson reference the receipt of a phone survey. The recipient redacted, stated someone called her and began to ask questions about the Kohlberger trial, to include questions about how redacted felt about the case. See below, redacted information provided via emailed Word document. So the phone number, and it lasted 18 minutes. Had me on the phone for 18 minutes talking about a case I don't want to be talking about. I mean, what? Stated they were a company performing a survey among the community in relation to the Brian Kohlberger case. He spelled Brian wrong. They verified if I was a Latah County resident. Oh, maybe this is her. And which city I considered myself a resident. Yeah, so this is from the lady's point of view. Here is a small list of the questions that I can remember. These questions are not verbatim, but of general sense of what I can remember being asked. Number 1, have I read, listened to, or seen any newsreels regarding Brian Kohlberger and or the families of the victims? Have I read, listened to, or seen any television or movie documentaries regarding Brian Kohlberger and or the families of the victims? Were you aware of any television, movies, or documentaries concerning Brian Kohlberger on sources like Netflix? Like Netflix. Number 4, what sources have you listened to, read, or seen as a source of information? I'm going to say this woman would have been a good juror. She can't even spell his name right. She hasn't seen too much. Number 5, can you name the specific newspapers, news stations, or source of information that you received your knowledge of the case? Have I heard or participated in any rumors surrounding Brian Kohlberger, the victims, or their families? I responded no, but that I have heard rumors regarding law enforcement involved in the case. In general statement, how would you describe how the community has been affected by the murders? 8, has the murders caused anyone you know or yourself any excess stress? 9, do you feel the community has felt an excessive stress since the murders? 10, do you know a student that attends University of Idaho? 11, do you know or are related to any law enforcement and or anyone directly involved with the case? 12, in a general statement, do you feel Brian Kohlberger could receive a fair trial? Number 13, do you think if you were asked to serve on a jury, I don't know why my thing didn't go, would you be able to serve fairly, weighing the evidence and the case presented? 14, have you ever driven past the residence in which the murders were committed? 15, did you ever read, watch, or listen to any reports of Brian Kohlberger's arrest in Pennsylvania? And 16, how would you describe how closely you've been following the Brian Kohlberger case? I should go back and we should look at the surveys they sent out, because this sounds different. I can't remember much more, but I felt the questions were sometimes redundant and just changing some words here and there, and they were focused on my personal opinion and my opinion of the community surrounding both the victims, their families, and Brian Kohlberger. There were several questions regarding if I felt Kohlberger could get a fair trial and if I felt I could impartially or fairly sit on a jury. The questions were just worded differently, but that was the general sense they were trying to feel out from me in my response. End of Word document. And then here it says, on Monday, March 11th, I received another report from P.A. Thompson stating Redacted received a similar phone call. I called Miss Redacted and learned the following. The business that Redacted went by the name Research Strategies, Inc., the company's website, gives a website, states they conduct various types of surveys to include public opinion surveys and post-trial survey analysis. The phone number provided to Miss Redacted shows up on the Better Business Bureau website for the same company out of Alabama. I checked TLO and found the number used to be associated with a woman in Alabama who passed away in 2011, which further lends it to being the correct number, just reassigned to this business. I spoke to Miss Redacted, who stated she received the call approximately 4:51 p.m. on 3/10/24. The first question she was asked if she was a Latah County resident. There were several questions that followed, which asked generic questions about trials and criminal justice system. Then she stated the woman asked her specifically if she were aware of the Kohlberger trial. Ms. Redacted stated she refused to answer, asked the woman who she worked for, and Research Strategies with the number provided, who was paying for the survey, and asked for her supervisor. The woman gave her company's number and stated she was unaware of who was responsible for the survey. Ms. Redacted also stated the number the woman called from was, and she gave the number, This number is not found in TLO and is likely a Google voice type number not associated with the person. This is also the number that called redacted. So the first person it looks like. And they're calling up a Google phone number. That's sketch. If you're a real company, right? I wouldn't, my company is not under a Google number. That's just, I don't know. Maybe I should. Maybe it should be. Actually, that's a great idea. I'm thinking I'm going to change that today. That's a great idea. Let them call another number every day and tell me they'll give me millions of dollars. That's what they say. Do you want a loan for $500,000? And I'm like, I can't pay you back. Do you know where I work? I work for Google. People say they work for themselves, but no, on YouTube you work for Google, in my opinion. So I think that was the last one there. That gets us up to 260. So we're doing good. We're doing good here. I will play that video because I thought that video was pretty interesting. About the investigators speak out about the target's motive in interviewing Koberger, and Keena Wentworth has been incredible, I feel like, on this case. She's been reporting on this case. We've watched her podcast. Not the one we had just watched, but the King Road Killings. It was ABC podcast. If you guys ever want to go back and rewatch them, they're all there. All those podcasts are. But she interviews three of the let's see. Darren Gilbertson and I forget who, Bill Thompson, and someone else is there that she talks to. So let's listen into this. I thought it was pretty interesting for you guys.
Fresh off.
And if you guys don't mind, before I play this, will you hit the like button for me? It really helps get into the algorithm. It just helps my small channel. Also, if you do appreciate the coverage today, don't forget to subscribe. We're usually here every day at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes I pop in for a day live. I just sneak in on you guys.
The sentencing of the University of Idaho killer Bryan Kohberger, our ABC News live anchor Keena Wentworth sat down with the Idaho murders investigative team to discuss their unexpected plea deal and the new details that are coming out about that violent attack. Keena is with us now in Moscow, Idaho. And Keena, what new details did you learn from this interview?
Several, Alex. Good to be here with you. So this is the first time that anyone is hearing from Lieutenant Darren Gilbertson. He is the lead detective on this case for Idaho State Police, and he was joined by current Moscow Police Chief Anthony Jollinger, as well as lead prosecutor Bill Thompson. And Alex, we did our interview right inside here. This is the Latah County Courthouse. We were sitting in courtroom 3 for our interview. That is the courtroom where a majority of Bryan Kohberger's hearings were held when he was here in Latah County before this was moved to Boise. And look, a few things that are very important here that we heard from lead prosecutor Bill Thompson initially, that they didn't know who the target was, right? Well, what he told me today is that he personally feels that, like, for whatever reason, the target was one of the 2 women on the 3rd floor of this home. The 2 women on the 3rd floor of this home, Alex, were Kaylee and Maddie. Take a listen.
I personally feel that for whatever reason, he targeted one of the young women on the 3rd floor. And the fact that he found them together, whether that was planned, we'll never know. It's more likely than not, he did not expect to encounter Xana and the others up and about. And that was unfortunate. We are fortunate that he got scared and ran and left without harming Dylan or Bethany. Dylan was so vulnerable. I mean, that young woman had an angel watching over her that night or that early that morning.
No question.
She had an angel there.
Do you think that Maddie was the target and that he was surprised to find Kaylee?
I don't think that we can tell what room he went into first. He could have very well turned left at the top of the stairs into Kaylee's room and seen an empty room. Or, as you suggest, he could have intended on going directly to Maddie's room.
So even as we narrow this down here, Alex, there are still some looming questions here. And a reminder to our viewers that the knife sheath that was found underneath Madison Mogen, we're told by authorities, was found immediately. Also notable here that we've learned that Kaylee's injuries were far more significant than Maddie's, and she was in fact described by authorities as unrecognizable.
That's really sad. That's really sad. Then they said that they like they were both like their heads were towards the door, I think. And that's just like a reaction to try like to get away, you know? Sad.
When they found her, Alex.
Wow. And that notion of motive is one of the big mysteries still with this case. But Kana, we also learned a little bit more about the night that Kohberger was questioned.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, this is the first time that we're hearing from Lieutenant Darren Gilbertson, and he traveled to Pennsylvania with another detective from Moscow Police, Brett Payne. And when they traveled to Pennsylvania after Brian Kohberger's arrest, they sat with him, they interviewed him. And he said that their interview was lengthy, that he was respectful, and that they talked a lot about things surrounding Washington State and his education, but that the tide really shifted when they asked him specifically about the murders here in Idaho.
And then about the third time, he was more pointed, wanting to know. And we said, well, I feel like you probably know why we're here. We're detectives from Idaho, and we're here because of the case in Moscow. And as soon as we mentioned that, then he stopped and he said, I don't want to talk anymore.
They described a few other things from that arrest as well. They told me that they watched the body-worn cameras from the officers making that arrest, and that Brian Kohberger was in fact sorting trash, wearing gloves at the time, that he sort of tried to run down the stairs, but that he was met by officers and that he was taken into custody without incident. They had been surveilling him for quite some time, and they told me that it was a bit odd that he was seen wearing gloves all over the place, in places that it wouldn't make sense, like at the DMV and at the pharmacy. And Alex, they also told me that they would surveil him at night, and that one night while he was wearing dark clothing, officers surveilling him almost hit him essentially as he was running across the street. So again, we're learning a lot of new details. I also want to mention to you, Alex, that there's been a lot of questions here about what was Brian Kohberger carrying, right? We know the surviving roommate, Dylan Mortensen, described someone clad in black carrying something like a vacuum. And the way that Bill Thompson described it to me was about like a container. And he went like this. And he said that Dylan described the man we now know as Brian Kohberger walking past her holding a container with both hands like this.
Wow. No, it's pretty, that's something, Kana. But I'm curious, you know, in terms of what's next for Kohberger, do we know about the prison that he's headed to?
Yeah. In fact, we were able to get a tour of the Idaho Maximum Security Institution. That is where Brian Kohberger is now. And what's happening now is there is an assessment process that's going on that can take between 7 and 14 days. And during that assessment process, he will essentially be secluded from the other inmates while they try to figure out what is the best place to put him for his safety and for the safety of others. And so that will take a little bit of time, because there's a lot of different levels of security in that institution. At the highest level of security, Alex, those inmates are in their cell for 23 hours a day. And when they are moved in restraints. But there's several other lower levels of security as well. So we don't know exactly where he will be placed. But I also want to mention here that for Bill Thompson, what he told me, because there's been a lot of questions about this plea deal, that for him, an admission of guilt from Brian Kohberger in the end is better than a conviction in court, because for Bill, as he says it, he will now die behind bars. Alex.
Wow. All right, Kana Whitworth, I thank you for today, and I thank you for your coverage throughout this entire
Dag nabbit. I was going off. I don't even know what I was saying now. Oh, okay. I was saying a lot, but I'll say nothing. I'll say a little this time. No, I was just talking about this article. I thought it was pretty interesting. I wanted to read through it to see if it'll tell us exactly like what the assessment is like, because I was just saying that I know that they assessed you for like your mental health to see if there's anything kind of like mentally wrong with you, if you need any medications, if you need anything like any special treatment, which they don't give you. If you're part of like a gang, they'll try to house you like away from them and things like that. So I thought this would be interesting to read through. But it just says here, Christy Gonzalez stared down Brian Koberger, who violently murdered her 21-year-old daughter, Kaylee, telling him at his sentencing, "May you continue to live your life in misery. You are officially the property of the state of Idaho." Now the state of Idaho has sent Koberger to the Idaho Maximum Security Institution in Kuna, the Idaho Department of Corrections confirmed to ABC News. The facility is about 20 minutes outside Boise. We Google mapped it one night, where Koberger appeared in court Wednesday to be sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences plus 10 years for the fatal stabbings of Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogen, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. Look at him. He just looks scary. With his little Laverne and Shirley L. This week, ABC News toured 30-year-old Koberger's new home, which has the capacity to house 535 of some of the most dangerous and violent male offenders, including death row inmates. I'd be scared of Kobergs. But officials said they find the 49 inmate currently serving life sentences to be the easiest to manage because this is home and will always be home. The tan nondescript building has a double perimeter fence reinforced with razor wire and electronic detection system. Ooh. All inmates abide by a regimented schedule that includes 3 meals a day, including vegan options, education programming, must be nice, mentorships, and recreation. However, a typical day is not typical, officials said, explaining that days sometimes get derailed by disorderly behavior. Fruit is restricted because some inmates use it to brew alcohol. Well, hell yeah, I would do that. Hooch. Sometimes 5 gallons at a time. So you don't, how they don't get no fruit? It's restricted. What do you mean? 1 apple every other day? Some inmates communicate with each other through the vents. A big request from inmates can be for better or particular ventmate, officials said. Okay. The prison has multiple layers of housing operations, including close custody, the most restrictive, where inmates spend 23 hours a day in a cell and are moved in restraints and protective custody. And for those who might be at risk if placed elsewhere, protective custody is often at the request of the inmate, officials said. There's also mental health housing and long-term restrictive housing. This must be fun, hanging out in this little cell. The most restrictive common area has metal chairs and tables bolted to the floor with enclosures that look like cages for inmates to have video calls. Metal and cement enclosures are also scattered scattered around the outdoor recreation area to be used as needed. Kind of like a dog. Put them up in a cage. I mean, it's crazy. I don't think he gives a damn either. Yeah, L is for large, yeah. But I say it's for Laverne because it looks like the L on Laverne's shirts. I used to watch old shows as a kid. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the mic. Okay, so do we read all that? Yeah. So before Koberger is placed, his needs will be assessed in a process that can take between 7 and 14 days. How many days has it been? Not that many. Koberger will be kept isolated for his safety and for the safety of others during that time. Though Koberger's case has concluded and motive remains unknown, Moscow police said they don't know which victim was the specific target and have not found any link between Koberger and the victims. You're always wanting to get the families the why, but sometimes they don't get to have the why. James Fry, who the Moscow police chief at the time of the murders, told ABC News on Wednesday. But Fry says new information could come out still. There's always cases that 10 years later, somebody says something, he said. I believe that. I don't think it'll take that long. I think once his teacher writes him, his old teacher, maybe he'll give her the story. You know? I'm reading the chat. You guys are funny. Also, I thought that I added the last episode to the Patreon for Gilgo Beach, and I did it today. I thought I did it yesterday, but I didn't. I didn't press like just the last button. So I'm so sorry that I told you guys that. I think he did it alone because I don't think that, he had any friends or anybody that could. Okay, so if you're going to commit a murder like this, right? He had an intended target. So he really wouldn't probably want anybody with him. You know what I mean? Like, I think he was going there to kill one person. Like, I think he was going to Maddie's room with a purpose. Like, that's who he went for. I don't think he would need a second person or a third person. If you're only going for one person, and then things just snowball from there, right? Also, if you have a second person with you, they have to be on your level of crazy, right? Like, you can't have somebody down here in this level of crazy and you're up here, because this person's going to mess up and leave something, fingerprints, DNA, and something. But there was nothing, right? Nothing left. How could two people be that good? I feel like, you know what I mean? I mean, Kohberger left the sheet. That was a dumb move. But for the most part, he was doing things okay. But you got to have somebody that's just as crazy as you. And it's hard to find somebody that crazy. Usually it has to be like family members. You know what I mean? Like, let's, for instance, the Pike County Massacre. That was a whole family that, teamed up to go to another family like that. But yeah, right. Loose lips sink ships. Exactly. Actually, like, yeah. And someone would say, the other person, someone would say something, right? I don't know. Hope that makes sense. But that's how I think of it. Like, but you never know. Maybe, I'm still wondering why both doors were open though. Not even the cartel is that good. That's true. Okay. Let me see. So I think that's all I really got for you guys. Does anybody have any questions? I do have that, the document spreadsheet, so we can always go back to any of the documents. Let me share this with you. If we need to go back to like any of the, the documents, because we will go back through some of them. Some of them we've been learning a lot, and it's insanity. What are you doing, doggy? She's trying to get comfortable. She's scratching the floor. Hey, what are you trying to do? Bury something? Oh, I probably got to take her out. I've only taken these dogs out once. I usually take them out 3 times, but they've been being really good, so I've been letting them be good. But now she's awake. Now her sister's awake. So, but if you guys have any questions, just let me know. You have a question? What time is lunch and do you get a bathroom break? You do get a bathroom break, and well, actually, you don't get lunch. I can't afford to feed y'all, so you can actually. We'll give you like a jail lunch. We'll give you a piece of bread, some beans. We're gonna do vegan style and some rice. That's what you get. Or I have a lot of tofu. I could do that. You can have a bathroom break, but it's in a porta potty that everybody's used twice. Man, porta potty. I haven't used a porta potty forever. But yeah, my dogs have been so good today. I should do a little video as I walk them. It's kind of hard sometimes, like to have them and then have the phone. But I do have like this kind of a case. I love these cases. They should sponsor me. I've got 4 of these now, but one of them I don't use because it kind of broke. But they're called loopy cases. So you can hold your phone. You'll never drop it. You can hold your phone and your drink, like, how women are, your purse, whatever else you need in this hand. And then you can even put something right here and hold it in. You know what I mean? Like your wallet. I have my wallet right here. So like, because I know when I go to the car, I got so much stuff. I don't know why I take so much stuff in my hands, but I do. But yeah, I could probably take a video of this. I think I have some videos of the dogs on my phone. They have not heard on the documents. Wow. I do have the documents about their injuries. Yep. I don't know if it says it was one of the first ones, I believe. Was it the first one? No, it wasn't. No, that first one was like weird. It was like all the evidence stuff. Let me see. I thought it was, but maybe not. Maybe it was down further. Right here, autopsy, DNA, swabs. Hold on, I'll get it for you. I think this is it. And I'll put it in the chat for you if you'd like me to. If it'll open up. Okay, yeah, I think this is it. I'll put this in the chat for you. It's going to be like a Google file. Oh, I'll have to look at my email. Yeah, Tony's making lunch. They're actually being good again. They're just sitting there. Yeah, the second one. Yep. Tiffany, you're good. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to jump off of here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it. If you guys haven't yet, please hit the like button. It takes like 2 seconds. It's free to do. I know. I don't know what it is with the like button because I'm like that too. I'm like, I don't know. But I always remember when I go in somewhere, I just hit the like button automatically. It's like, just can't get your finger there, you know? But it's like so easy yet so hard. But thank you guys for hitting the like button. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. We are trying to grow as much as we can over here. And I'll be back this evening, most likely to go over some more of the documents or whatever we find. Also, I'm going to put in the FOIA request for all of the different places for Kohberger. I'm trying to find the paper that I had, but I really don't need it because there's like 5 different places that he's been. It seems like, or 4. So I need to put him in for those places. So, oh no, PKC, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That's like that's the worst. I'm so sorry. My dogs are getting older and my cat's getting older and it scares the shit out of me. My cat especially. I've had him since I was 22. I'll be 40 in October. So, but he's still jumping around doing his thing, loving life. So biting the dogs. He chased the big dog around the house the other day. I was like, that's hilarious. So he's still doing good, but I'm so sorry about your dog, PKC. You're in my thoughts. If you ever decide to get another dog, get a Weimaraner. Get a Weimaraner. They're pretty exciting dogs. They really are. So, and I'm really sorry to hear about your dog. But I will see you guys all later. Have a wonderful day. If I don't see you, have a wonderful Monday. And I will see you guys all soon. If you're watching on a replay, just comment below replay or hello, Tanya, whatever you want. Or hey, there's Mia. She's crying now. And I'll see you guys all in the next live. Have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how.